What's going on, everybody? Greg here, and let's web sling our way into the review of 2017's Spider-Man Homecoming. This movie was directed by John Watts, and it stars Tom Holland as Peter Parker / Spider-Man, with Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes / the Vulture, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark / Iron Man, Jacob Batalon as Ned, and Marissa Tomei as Aunt May. The plot of Spider-Man Homecoming is about Peter Parker trying to balance his life as a high school kid while also fighting crime as the one and only Spider-Man, when all of a sudden, a new threat appears. Now, going into this movie, I already put Spider-Man on a pedestal because I compared it to Raimi's 2002 Spider-Man 1 and 2 because those movies are amazing. -3, that movie sucked. But this one was really good. It wasn't great, but it was very entertaining and hilarious. Tom Holland as Spider-Man was a breath of fresh air because he stole my love for Tobey Maguire's version of Spider-Man. Holland's performance of Peter Parker and Spider-Man was amazing. He had me laughing throughout the entire film, yet I really felt his emotions when you had those serious moments. He was believable. He also had his best friend Ned. This guy was hilarious. He was one of my favorite parts of the movie. All of his jokes were gold, and they landed, and they were delivered at such the perfect time. But to be honest, Marissa Tomei as Aunt May honestly did nothing for me. She wasn't really in the movie that much, and when she was on the movie, she didn't really deliver that soft, welcoming, comforting Aunt May that we love from the comics, the TV show, and even from the older woman in the 2002 Spider-Man. She kind of seemed more of like the cool older sister or cooler older cousin that he lives with, more than that aunt figure who's taking him in as basically like her son. And one character that I want to bring up that I had a huge problem with was Flash, played by Tony Revolori. I didn't like what they did with that character. I didn't like the way they portrayed him. Something about the way that they wrote that character just didn't sit right with me. To be honest, he kind of reminded me of that one character from that movie Mean Girls, the one who thinks he's really cool and he's really awesome, but in reality he's just a major geek. And I always remembered Flash as the jock, as the guy who picks on Peter Parker because he's a big tough jock and Parker is such a nerd. But in this movie they actually made Flash more of a geek and a nerd and someone who does the academic decathlon as opposed to him being a jock, which I just didn't really agree with. But one of the true stars in this movie was Michael Keaton. His interpretation of the Vulture was so good. He is easily now one of my top favorite villains of the MCU. He's extremely intimidating when he plays Adrian Toomes and when he also plays the Vulture. He's very intimidating. He's like gives you moments where you're just like really nervous around him because of the fact that he delivers such an intense emotion. And when I saw the trailers, by the way, if you saw the trailers, you pretty much saw this whole movie. But one of the parts in the trailers that I didn't like is when they showed the Vulture, I didn't like the way his costume looked. But I was completely dismissed of those feelings when I was watching this because his costume was super cool. His face mask that he wears with the light of green eyes was spectacular. That looked amazing. His wings, I liked the way they explain how he's able to fly around the town. I like what his wings looked like, and I even love the bomber jacket that he wears with the feathers around it, trying to stick true to the comics. I really liked that. But what's so great about his character is that you truly understand why he's doing the evil things that he does. And that's one of the great things about him, is that he's a villain with a heart of gold. He's doing everything wrong for the right reasons. Kind of reminds me of Breaking Bad. If you've seen this movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. But as much as I did enjoy this movie and love it a lot, there was a huge problem that I had with it, and it all comes down to the Spider-Man suit. I loved the way it looked, don't get me wrong, but one thing I didn't like about it was the technology, because the suit is given to him by Tony Stark, and Tony Stark put all of his cool Iron Man gadgets into it. Basically, there's even this mode where he has instant kill, where it's like lasers, I'm sure, came out of the eyes, something that Spider-Man suit doesn't have. He also has like 500 different types of web blaster moves, which I thought that part was cool, but he also had artificial intelligence inside of his suit, just like the way Iron Man has Jarvis in his suit. And a lot of the movie is spent explaining what the suit can do as opposed to what Peter Parker as Spider-Man can do. And that kind of bothered me because what I loved about Spider-Man is that he's just swift, he's agile, he knows how to fight, he can climb up walls, he can shoot webs. He doesn't need a technology type suit in order for him to be the amazing superhero that he is. But in this movie, they kind of focused a lot on what the suit can do, and I just had a problem with that because I felt like it was unnecessary. Why does he even need to have Spider-Man abilities if he has a cool suit? Couldn't you just give the suit to anybody and they can be Spider-Man? Spider-Man because of the technology that's in the suit. So on that level, I hated the suit for what it was, but I did like the way it looked. But overall, this movie was great. It was hilarious. The action in it was really, really cool. The Vulture was an amazing, amazing villain. And there was this really, really cool twist involving a car ride. I'm not going to spoil it, but once you see it, the car ride scene is amazing. And I left the movie overall really enjoying it. So now let's get into what I would rate 2017's Spider-Man Homecoming. I give this one a 4 out of 5 because it never technically showed his Spidey sense, and that's something huge that I was missing out of the movie. And I didn't really like the suit too much. And I didn't really like how much they focused on what the suit's abilities were as opposed to Peter Parker's abilities as Spider-Man. And there's this huge twist at the end involving one of the characters that I thought was completely unnecessary. It did not need to be in it. It did nothing for the plot. All it really did was throw something in there for you to be like, wow, really? But it had nothing to do with the movie, and it's not going to throw anything into the future movies. So with that being said, I got to give this a 4 out of 5. Thank you everybody for watching my review of 2017 Spider-Man Homecoming. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please go down below, comment, tell me what you did or didn't like about this movie. Spoiler free for the other people, please. Also, if you could, like this video, share it with others. I'd really appreciate that. And if you haven't done so already, please go down below, subscribe to my channel if you like the content that I'm putting out, and also hit that little bell so you can get notified when I have a new video for you. Thanks everybody again, as always, for watching, and remember to watch a movie, man.